Hello, everyone. I am very excited to present this episode to you as two mysteries become unlocked and two major things kind of happen. This is the first part. There is a second part. I would suggest for this to, make sense, to definitely listen to the prior episodes. If you have listened to the prior episodes and you are here now, congratulations. I hope you enjoy listening to this as much as we enjoyed recording it. This is Corey, your DM. Welcome to Perception Check.
Because I've only got one beer to open.
Oh man, so it's going to be really important that we nail this then.
You're going to fuck it up on purpose, aren't you?
Bye. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Go ahead. Welcome to Perception Check, the actual play D&D podcast, where we play D&D 5th edition sort of in our homebrew world. This is Corey, your DM, and I am here with the crew. We have Matt on drums, Adrian on tambourine, Josh on oboe, and Chris on triangle. We're a great band.
Saxophone.
Yeah. This is the first time recording in a while. We're all in person.
Yay! Here.
Yay, we're all here.
Adrian and I got the shaft in the band.
No, you got the triangle. Tambourine.
Tambourine. Come on.
He doubts our musical talents.
Also, I would very much like to hear this band and what their music sounds like.
Terrible.
I think it would be ridiculous.
Yeah, it would be, it'd just be awful.
We are completely dispensable because Matt could play us on his drum.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't be able to hear either through the drums and the oboe. Yeah.
Oboe.
So, I am glad we are all here because I think this will be a very special episode, and it's going to be interesting because it's mostly going to be role play, not a ton of combat, based on kind of we've discussed to see kind of where we're going next, and you guys chose a pretty wonderful location. I'm just excited. I'm really stoked about today.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting out, we left off, you guys completed your adventure in Candy Cane Forest just to town. You had one of the hardest combats you've ever ran into. And before we get to some retcons, I just want to see what your guys' thoughts were of that whole interaction.
You mean the actual fight itself?
Yeah, like the fight itself, the adventure you went on in Candy Cane Forest.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I like that the setup did not give us a ton of information, but we were able to learn enough to continue forward. We learned a little bit more about relevant knowledge check things that could help us in the future. And the fight was hard. We didn't know whether or not we were going to come out ahead.
Yeah, I thought I had you. That levitation.
With an entirely new team, which was really cool. We role-played with characters that we've never really all role-played together with, which was also really cool. Also, the way we came into the town, like Matt was saying, and kind of discovered what was going on, which I think is going to be a lot in season 3.
Yeah. Oh,
that's what we've been missing out of our get-together play D&D, is this unfolding mystery that went really well, I felt. So I'm really excited about that. Corey, you put so much work into this, and it's obvious it's paying off.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the fighting. It was good to get back into just a basic D&D fight.
And the backstory, too. Finding a frost giant that made the town what it is.
Yeah.
The reason behind why something that ridiculous is there is amazing.
Well, that's what Corey is so good at. I put a giant pile of bullshit into the middle of our story, and Corey makes it make sense. He breaks it out and turns it into fertilizer.
I was really proud of us because I think we played smart rather than sometimes we just try and do damage or whatever, but I think we played really strategic and tactical because we knew it was going to be hard. So
Sauron definitely almost died. Quick thinking on that levitation spell.
Levitation was
just so would have
I was so nervous because I thought she was going to die.
Levitation spell, and then Josh Erebus being way more powerful than I was thinking that he would be.
Yeah.
With the changes that he made. Way more
came in
powerful.
handy.
So the hit points, I'm sure Corey's going to be adjusting monsters at this point based on just how much damage we can deal to make it even more challenging than even that was. But I think that it was an appropriate level, especially for a first-time party and lower-level characters, and the balance, I think, was there. Yeah, no healing.
And we have no health potions, just so everyone's aware. And I think all of these chocolates are gone. So
Yes, all of the chocolates are gone. The truffles.
The truffles, yeah.
Troubles.
But you did say that we can buy regular health potions from
Absolutely.
Shelby.
Yes,
We're
absolutely.
just not going to have magical truffles anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm totally okay with you guys picking those up. If you want to take some of your gold and feed it to that, you can do that. I think you guys doing just little bits of maintenance like that, we don't necessarily need to
Put it in the podcast.
do a full-on podcast episode and waste 10 minutes of you just buying simple health.
Sorrow does have cure wounds, so in an emergency.
Nice.
good to know.
Just so you-
That's something.
He has stuff to help you heal better during a short rest. And I think I got.
I think
like
you can actually use healing spell if you put it on your list, right? A bard can.
I will say, speaking of Bard, some of the spells and combat control you were able to use was incredibly impressive.
It's unfortunate that we lost some of that.
I know, he did so good.
Really good about battlefield control, crowd control, because we had a ton of enemies to deal with.
Oh yeah, all the trolls and stuff, like the
Well, even just the
noxious
little guys
cloud or whatever.
There were like, what, 15 of them or something?
That's what I was thinking is with Bard and Sorrow in there, we had to be more strategic because we were playing different characters that we didn't know how to play.
It was something that we haven't really had characters that are built that way, which was also fun. And I'm trying to, I can't get too drunk during episodes when I'm playing Bard because I'm trying to, work role play into his fighting, singing songs and stuff.
There were some things that Adrian, for example, who plays Sorrow, she had to go take care of a little one at one point. And Sorrow,
We had been up so many.
yeah,
The both of us. It was just ridiculous.
Sorrow would not have been a fan of desecrating the grave of the frost giant. Do you want to speak a little bit to that?
Oh, just to say where Sorrow would have stood on it. She had, coming into working with the COL, she had this big grand idea of their justice. And she kind of thought, taking money from the tomb was not a good picture of that. So she's a little disappointed to see that Erebus was so in favor of taking the money because she kind of has these grand ideas of what heroism is. And so that's kind of, she's been doing vigilantism and so just not even about the recognition. She was going around being secret about it. And so she, just doing good for the sake of doing good. And she didn't think that really aligned with her perception of the COL and how they did good. So
Yeah, which I think that tracks.
That's
You
how she
came
would
into
see it,
this
yeah.
with, after the war and the billboard picture of the Coalition of Light. I think that tracks. She doesn't know Erebus is past and that he is indeed a pirate and does piratey things.
yeah, so it disappointed her a little bit with the grand ideas she had of Erebus as
I
a
like
hero.
that.
So
I like that. I want to see more of that kind of like in the real world, people aren't perfect. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So she has him on a pedestal and she just, realizes, oh, maybe my perceptions weren't really realistic.
It happens.
Maybe that could turn into like, maybe I belong in this group.
Sure. Yeah. Sorrow's kind of a coming of age character. She was really young when she joined the B team. So
Yeah.
The way we should say that none of us are personally hurt in any way by Erebus's actions. He did what his character does.
Yeah.
And we're all acting in accordance. Initially, I'm sure part of that will be edited out of the episode, but I personally, Matthew, was so tired. I want to argue, like, in Geralt's perspective, but I fucking don't care anymore.
listen, you did one better than me. I just pieced out.
I was like, where did she go?
But there are some steps Geralt did decide to take after
Yeah.
that session.
That's very true. So in that regard, it refuses to touch any of the money that is associated with that. We already gave 10 grand to the town itself and the sort of elder there. But he specifically kind of almost thinks that either the gold or an item must be cursed in some way. And he doesn't want any part of this desecrating the
Great.
grave. Yeah. And I was going to say, in retrospect, realistically, we probably shouldn't have taken the staff as well. I'm saying we should retcon that we put it back in an ornament, not back in the tomb, but back
like
in the cave,
cavern, or something.
in like an ornamental place.
We could seal it into the floor.
Yeah.
No, you could.
Yeah, that's fine.
How about like in an ice altar? And
Yeah,
it's not
that's
going to
kind of what I was thinking. Like
magically ice.
So it has like Ice Storm as one of its abilities. So we could just be like set it on the ground and like activate Ice Storm
yeah,
on itself and just like
for sure.
bury itself in the floor.
that's exactly. So
Yeah.
a place of honor above a place of honor above the tomb.
That's fine. I just knew that once we sealed all the holes, because we needed it to fill all the holes, that there was no way for us to put it back in the tomb.
That's true.
So that's why I said I put it in my bag, because otherwise it's just
or it's an ice altar.
yeah.
like sitting
I
out.
forgot that it was giant size.
Yeah.
When they visit,
I was thinking that like even above the entrance of the, deep within the cave, once you're
Yeah, I mean it's like a 15-foot long
yeah.
staff.
So here's my question. Cool. Ice staff is back. What are you keeping? Who has gold?
I have gold.
Bard, did you take gold?
I think once we took it, he took some.
Okay.
Sorrow doesn't take gold. She either leaves it with the town, or I guess Erebus can keep it if he wants.
Okay. So kind of a split.
Spend it, but he has it.
Yeah, kind of split between the two. Geralt didn't take any.
According to the last podcast, we took everything with us.
Everything.
Okay.
So if we would like to retcon, that's fine. But according to the last podcast, we took everything.
So we have like a frost giant's carcass and a bag of holding.
No. We took the weapons. We didn't take the frost
I
giant.
know.
Yeah.
That would be insane. No, we didn't take
disgusting.
everything because we didn't take the necklace that
No, we left,
Yeah.
we left the
because
necklace.
that's for the town.
Yes.
Like the
Yes.
town wouldn't be without that necklace.
So now knowing what the Dwarven Thrower is and knowing that I wouldn't be able to use it, if we had taken the time to like do an identify spell on it, there would be no reason for me to take it because it's not something I can use.
Okay, so you put it back in the mine?
Yep.
Okay.
Left it there. Then.
Yeah.
What about the giant sword?
I can't even use a sword really, so it doesn't make any sense for me. And like I said, I think
it's a short sword. Honestly, I think the only one that would use it would be Bard.
So if you hit a giant type creature, it does additional damage, and it also has the chance of knocking them prone.
Or you could just take Bard or Topher with you, and he has Giant Slayer.
So do you keep all the weapons in the tomb then, and just take the gold?
Yes, I guess
Gotcha.
we will retcon that we left everything but the staff and then sealed the staff in the floor of the cavern.
And you
After-
gave part of the gold to the town, and then Bard and Erebus took some of the gold for themselves. Okay, cool. All right, so to get this started, we'll say you guys probably went back to Hagwarts. I know Geralt will definitely have things to do to get things back on track with Candy Cane Forest and the ice cream shipments.
yeah.
That's right.
We know that the town is kind of putting this money towards good things, expanding the town. They kind of are setting it up almost like a tourist attraction based on like the heroes that came in and the cool things they did. And they changed their name from Candy Cane Forest just a town to Candy Cane Forest more than a town. And there's still probably a horse rotting somewhere in the woods.
When we're done with that town, it'll be an amusement park.
Just please eat it. Don't worry about it.
So a little bit of time passes. Ice cream shipments are finally going back out, starting to kind of roll out. Hagwarts kind of gets theirs first. The children are very excited and not rioting as much in the lunchroom. Geralt, as you're walking from class to class, kind of planning out your day, you hear from behind you as you got your face down into a book, "Hey, Geralt."
Oh, hey. Hey, it's Scott.
"Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing much, man. What are you doing?"
I was just looking at this book.
"Oh, okay. Well,
I was walking too. What are you doing?
oh, nothing. I thought I'd say hi. You know, ice cream came in."
Ice cream came in? Oh,
Yeah.
That's today?
"Yeah,
Ah, yes. All right, cool.
I know. All right. Well, are we still going to meet for lunch?"
Every day.
"All right. Sounds good." Oh, snap.
You know, actually, I have something for you.
What?
Well, it's more of a request.
What?
How do you feel about travel?
Travel?
Travel.
Oh, I feel pretty good about it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm interested in some of the history surrounding Candy Cane Forest, just a town. And
Oh,
Actually, this might be a conversation to have in my office. Let's have lunch in my office.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, I'll see you there.
All right. And we are going to kind of fade out from there. What's Daryl up to?
Daryl. I haven't really thought about Daryl. What is Daryl up to? He doesn't really teach a class or anything. It's more like a life experience, help people when they need it sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he might post a group and say like, hey, I heard about this problem in this town. Anybody wants to come? I'll be here at this time. And so he's sort of, as much as he didn't really think that he would be adventuring, he is tending to go on more sort of adventure-y things. But part of that is to go check things out. It might even be political, as far as like, you know, some town has a problem with the COL and they're making a bunch of noise and they've sent letters and complaints, and he might be like an emissary to go and say like, hey, what's your problem and how can we help? And he's just kind of, I would say that he's definitely working with Thala and Lazarus and Geralt and the whole COL for sure, of just kind of, I think I've said before, but he's kind of like my right-hand guy. And so he might throw a big barbecue one day and go kill some monsters in a town one day and then go smooth things over with another town a different day. So he's just kind of always on the move and perfectly content being wherever he is.
Okay.
So he doesn't necessarily have classes, but when students who have a need of experience, he's there for that. So if they are in some sort of a political class or English class or social studies or things of that nature, he might go smooth things over with the town with a couple of students there and get real world experience in a semi-safe environment with a member of the coalition.
Yeah. So as he's kind of going about his travels and stuff, he comes across a library in a insert town here.
The town is called Brindlehold.
He comes across a library and he is recognized as, Geralt's brother, someone who goes to Hogwarts, and they're like, oh, hey, she's like sweeping out front of the library and she's like, oh, hey, Daryl, Embersoul, right?
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Oh, hey, come here. I have something that your school may be interested in.
Oh, okay. I mean, over where?
Oh, just right inside the library. It's okay. I have it at my desk.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, well, come on. And he says to the two students that he has with them.
Yeah. You guys make your way inside the library, and there's lots of books all around, and she takes you up to, like, the main desk, which is semicircular in the center of the library, and the rows of books kind of go out like teeth on a gear almost from this desk. There's multiple levels in the library. And she goes, here, every now and then we get people in here researching and looking for different things because they catch sightings of certain animals or creatures from around the world, and we always kind of take notes because, sometimes we'll have a drunk come in and say that they saw something, and we can't really take it for sure, but some of these are actually like super duper rare or even thought to be mythical.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was thinking, if you're...
I'm so sorry. I've been rude. I'm Daryl, but who are you?
Oh, my name is Joan.
Oh, hey, Joan.
Hi. But here, I got a list of a few creatures that if you guys are out adventuring around, looking around, if you catch sight of any of these, can you, mark it and make sure no one's, hurting these animals? We, of course, want to preserve, these mythical creatures and take care of them.
Well, I agree, but, that's going to be Topher's department for sure. I mean, the Hunters Guild. Here's what I will do, Joan.
Yeah.
Is that I'm 100% going to give this to Topher.
Perfect. And she hands it to you. So in your handouts in Shard,
okay.
There is an unusual sightings list. There is a key Rin, and under that it says no reported sightings till now, always believed to be a bedtime story. You can see it.
Uh-huh.
How do I pronounce this?
Good.
Yeah, because...
Gyno.
Okay, Gyno Sphinx?
Yep.
A mysterious creature who is said to test those who search for them. Rewards range from magic treasures to instant death.
Not to be confused with a mythical gynecologist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I ask you riddles. We're digging around in there. Trumocratus, fables told of a massive sea creature that, if seen, will grant passengers a safe trip. Something called the Light of the Forest, which is a giant elk found roaming the forest people have seen, and a jester, an ancient trickster creature that has been seen in the mountains harassing travelers. So during your explorations, if you're in a mountainous area, you guys can look at this and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try looking for any hints of this jester thing. And then we can go and do that as a side quest. Or if you're sailing, you're like, oh, yeah, we got this thing that we may come across while we're sailing. Let's try to keep our eye out for that. And then depending on kind of what happens, you never know. These things may be real. Some may be fake. So you now have the list from the Hunters Guild that has creatures that are terrorizing places. And now you have one from the library about more peaceful mythical creatures. We are going to fade out from that. And speaking of Topher, we're going to go with Topher, who is sitting down within the grounds of Hagwarts with his daughter, Chris, and they are restringing all of the training bows. So you're sitting down together, like kind of sitting next to each other, like pulling the strings on the bows and like removing the old worn ones to prevent injury. And what have you two kind of been up to in the time that Topher hasn't been adventuring?
Child-friendly adventuring. It's all Topher. I mean, it just made sense. And that's kind of what he wanted to do with his daughter, and she already knows how to shoot, and he wants to teach her, you know, the ways of the forest and how he grew up, you know, managing wildlife and ecosystems and hunting and living off the land and just kind of, you know, moving without being heard and just enjoying the nature of it all. Like sort of like father-daughter camping trips, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's going to take this opportunity to say something to her.
Okay.
So, Chris, I have really enjoyed these past couple of weeks that we've had together.
Yeah, me too.
And we're going to keep hanging out. I don't want you to feel like I'm leaving or anything. It's just, I made a mistake in the past of thinking that I can't have adventuring and also have a family. And I need to remind myself that I can have both so that I don't make that mistake again. So I might be, I think we're taking a trip here pretty soon with the coalition. And so I'm probably going to be going with them. I mean, I'll be out of town for like a couple of days and I'll be back and we can hang out again. But this gives a good opportunity for you to, you know, hang out with your mom and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, that sounds good. I mean, thanks for, you know, kind of explaining that you will be back and you're not just totally ditching me. As your daughter, I do appreciate that.
Maybe I'm making too big of a deal out of it. It's just, it's been an issue for me, you know, and I just don't want it to be for you. So yeah, I'm still there. I'm just going on a trip. But yeah, take care of Hagwarts while I'm gone.
Yeah, she kind of smiles and looks down as she's stringing the bow, and you can see she kind of scoots a little bit closer to you. And as she's doing it, she's like, it's okay. And she doesn't look at you, but she's like, I know you're trying.
I appreciate that. Aim true, Chris.
Awesome.
I love it. This is such a cool. I love it. The development of a relationship from strangers that is familial. It's something that I don't have. I've never experienced. I really just think it's. I think it's beautiful. That's all. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I like it a lot.
So Bard, after the adventure, what's Bard kind of up to?
Bard has started writing again.
Oh, nice.
Like, he's trying his hand on actual bardic writing, which is writing lore, writing stories. You know, the story of Candy Cane Forest, how it became more than a town. You know, and what the COL and he did there, and also just he wants to write again because he has these experiences that are artistically burning a hole in his mind. You know, he needs to get them out. And Bart has never really written that way. He always wrote because he wanted to,
Shitty songs.
because he thought it was cool, or for fame. But now he's writing because he needs to.
Yeah.
And so there's more authenticity to it. And so he's been writing again, and I think that's, helping his classes and helping him. I mean, he doesn't have a new hit song yet or anything. But I think he's also starting to do what an actual bard does, which is sing songs to, help widen the notoriety of a person or a group.
Exactly. And we're kind of messing a little bit here with towns and how they kind of view the coalition and the school and all this kind of stuff. And like the Titan War, how people view the paths you guys took in that. And that's where I think at some point soon, I'll probably have you give me ideas on where Bart is performing. And then wherever he's performing these songs based on these events, that will help grow favor in whatever towns he's visiting and spreading these stories. So I don't want to say propaganda, but, kind of that idea. While Bart's writing, you're kind of in a main common area where there's a large fireplace. There's a couple other people inside. The fire's roaring. There's some torches on the wall. And as you're writing, you kind of get like a shiver, like you're feeling cold. It seems like you look at everyone else. Some people are in like thinner tunics, robes with, short sleeves. Everyone else seems to kind of be okay, but you're feeling like pretty cold.
Shouldn't have taken that gold.
I don't know why.
Well, first of all, cold. It's motherfucking cold out.
I know, man.
That's what Bart is thinking.
I know, right?
He looks around, he thinks, why can't I get? And why is this bothering me when it doesn't seem to be bothering anybody else? But for now, just in the same way that an itch that's bothering you and you wait until it gets real bad before you go see a doctor, he just puts on a coat and he thinks nothing of it.
Yep. We're going to fade out from that. Dave, you are currently underground. People are coming through. You're kind of going over a map layout of your lair that you're building. People are working. It's about 70% complete on how exactly you picture it. But you're continually getting hits from people who want to be buyers that, you've hired some people to go around and kind of put in people's ears like, hey, there's going to be a new business kind of opening up. So if you're looking for something or you have something to get rid of, keep us in mind, right? So how is Dave doing?
I think he's doing good. Happy with the progress that has been made. Putting the finishing touches on everything and making sure that for like the last 20 to 25% of what is being done, that it's like a completely new crew and that each team is working on their own exit. And once they're done, they're gone. So that each exit is its own closed off entity so that nobody knows where the other exits are.
Okay, so you've been checking all this stuff out. It's been looking good. And you're kind of going down your roster of people you've cut and talked to and gotten rid of. And there's one name from the old crew that you haven't been able to talk to them because they haven't been in, which is very much unlike them, but they have not been in for weeks. His name's Taryn.
Taryn? I'll send a message to Venom and just hey, keep an eye out for this guy.
Okay.
He's been missing on the site for a while. If you haven't heard anything in a couple of days, put out a full bounty.
Okay. You send that out. Erebus, after Candy Cane Forest just to town, what are you doing?
I gotta find my brother.
Okay.
I don't want to open the other letters without those people. So, Matt, what do you know about the other names that we have from Dad? R Irontail and M Irontail? Ring a bell for either one?
Not really. I'm assuming they're related to Wretch.
That's what I thought, but
I think in your letter it mentions that they have a place in Turncliffe in the markets.
So his letter, does it say the same thing?
The letter for Matt says almost identically the same thing. And why don't you roll an investigation? And Matt, why don't you roll an investigation for Matt?
Okay. Oh, 4. Sweet. 20.
6.
Okay. So Matt is kind of looking at his letter, and you both notice that there are multiple worn holes. Before you thought maybe they were kind of maybe moth-eaten or kind of worn, and they're very small.
Is his quote at the bottom the same?
It's all kind of like directed to him. It doesn't have the thing about the stars on the bottom of his. That's only on yours. And he's kind of looking at it, and you kind of mentioned the fact that you had seen these little holes in yours, but his are in different locations. And Matt kind of sees with his investigation 20 that they're not. He really doesn't think that they're just like worn pieces of the paper with holes. He feels like they're very intentional.
Well, my letter had something about stars, so I was thinking about trying to find like an astrological map and overlaying the holes to see what they line up with.
Yeah, and he goes, over.
I mean, that would make sense, Dad and the stars.
Yeah, and he kind of grabs yours and looks at yours, and with that 20 investigation, he's kind of looking at them, and he's like, and he puts them on top of each other, and there's about, we'll say there's like 20 little holes in each paper, but when you line up the paper, there's about 15 that line up exactly that you can see through. So if like holding in the candlelight, you can see it reflecting down these little pinpricks of light on the table.
Okay.
But it covers up about 5 of them.
So I guess the next thing is to go to Jortong and see if we can find these other 2.
Yeah, I guess so. I have a few things to wrap up before I'm ready to go.
Same.
Okay. And then we'll look into it.
Yeah, I guess
That's not his voice.
meet back up and we'll meet up in like a week or so and see if we can't narrow these guys down.
Yeah, sounds good, brother. And he takes off. We are going to fade out of that. Sorrow. After Cana came for us, just a town. What are you up to? More than a town.
Sorrow is continuing her solo vigilantism. She can't sit still. So she probably like sneaks out of Hogwarts at night and looks for, people in trouble on the road or in town. She's kind of like training. She's like trying to up her hero game.
Yeah.
Like on the side.
Which helps because Sorrow actually leveled up after the last adventure.
She's level 8 now.
Nice. What did you get? Anything cool?
I got a feat. The feat is Mage Slayer.
Ooh, what?
Oh, there it is.
Rude.
So practice techniques useful in melee combat against spellcasters gain the following benefits. When a creature is within 5 feet of you cast a spell, I can use a reaction to make a melee weapon attack against it.
Oh, that's cool.
When you damage a creature that is concentrating on a spell, the creature has disadvantage on the saving throw to maintain the concentration. And you have advantage on saving throws against spells cast by creatures within 5 feet of you.
Wow. And look at those new hit points.
Yeah.
Look at that. I wouldn't have killed you in one go.
Yeah.
In that last encounter. Okay. Cool. So yeah, Sorrow's out adventuring, and I think go ahead and roll a d20, and this is just going to be kind of a flat roll to see how well you're doing in your solo adventuring. 17. Yeah, you're kind of getting the hang of it. You're finding little pieces here and there, some vagabonds and, brigands and all those fun words.
Yeah.
And you're doing a really good job tracking. There's a few times where you feel like you may be being watched from a distance.
Okay.
But as you kind of like investigate and look around, you've yet to find anything. Now the big one.
Yes.
River.
Yes.
What has River been up to?
River has been keeping her distance, but kind of keeping tabs through Falcor kind of on what the COL is doing. She just wants to hear how they're doing. She's still invested in their fates. And so she's been kind of listening through the grapevine and using Falco kind of as a little bit of a spy. And she's been talking to Phaedra a little more, finding out a little bit more about her past, and just trying to learn what she can. While she feels distance from the COL, she's kind of like diving into something she can do. So
But you are chatting. It's the evening. You're at kind of a bar with Phaedra. She's drinking some tea. She's not drinking heavily like she was used to. As you guys are kind of talking about, and she's telling her stories, which she's getting really emotional about. So you're kind of supporting each other in this way as you're getting more of a background in that piece in your head that's still just kind of gnawing at you about, your friends and the way you've been feeling and the distance that you've been creating. And besides these conversations, the other big thing about this night is that it is the night before the Arbor Way Festival, as you are in Ferabast in the bar. And when you wake up, a big piece of your past is going to come full view into your life.
right.
These druids within Ferabast, they are overflowing the town basically, because this is such a huge event for them that they are so passionate about. You see them going up this Arbor Way is surrounded by stone with water. There's no grass all around it. And one of the things that is tradition is generally when the last flower blooms and the petals fall into the water, the druids use it as a blessing, and they take turns going in, dipping their fingers in the water, putting it on their forehead, saying a prayer to the long gone Feywild, and then continuing about their day. So it's a very religious experience.
Sure.
So the town is really just preparing for this. There's a weird stillness in the air as they're all just anxiously waiting this last relic of history.
Okay.
And whoosh, we go out.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Where are we going?
That would be the Lake of Elders.
Is this something that's scheduled? Hey, we're meeting on this day at this time.
I think that would make sense. I think that Garrow would have had to reach out to River to see if she would be willing to come.
So you pathicate?
Yeah, so I'll quickly pathicate to River. Hey, River, it's Garrow. I know it's been a bit. I hope you're
Been a while.
finding yourself well. So I know everything that went down at the trial and the way that you feel. And I know that it may be difficult for you, but we are heading to the Lake of Elders. And I think that it should be the four of us together. It's for Smartledor. I don't know. Just can you get back to me? Let me know. We don't really want to go without you.
So River hears what he says, but there's no response.
Okay. So River's eyes are closed as she's hearing Geralt's message, and she slowly opens them. And this is taking part in the morning. Travel's going to take a little bit of time. You're going to have to kind of climb a path up into the mountain to get to the lake because it is set inside a mountain range. It's kind of surrounded.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, does this trail go to it, or do you
You will have to go off the trail. So you could follow a road over to Red Larch and then go south from Red Larch into the mountains where you may be able to find some hiking trails and stuff up to the Lake of Elders.
But it truly is nestled in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Lena Lake.
Yeah.
Or Lake a Lake.
Or
A great many lakes that are
not mountains.
The Great Lakes?
Yeah, but none of the Great Lakes. None of those are
but none of those ones.
None of the Great Lakes are on mountains.
That's true.
But there are some lakes and some great mountains.
That's true.
This went on for far too long.
Yep, I think so.
And around
Okay, so
the right amount of time.
So River opens her eyes again after hearing this message in the early morning, and she looks out a window of an inn where people are already gathering for the Arbor Way Festival. These two things are happening concurrently at the same time. Okay.
Concurrently at the same time.
Yes. I said at the
Simultaneously.
same time because I wasn't sure I said concurrently right.
You did.
So, okay, yeah, cool. So I can edit it out to where I sound smart. Okay.
Cheater.
I know, I hold the editing power. Okay, so you reach out to River, you don't get a response. So what's going on? I think Sorrow probably knows some of the discussion.
Yeah.
So are you willing to invite Sorrow?
Well, if we don't, then Adrian doesn't get to play. So, but it doesn't
have to
it
make
doesn't
it
make
fit.
it doesn't make sense because we're dealing with like essence and portals and Smartledore and things that Sorrow doesn't know. And we can't trust her yet as the coalition. But I am not the only one. There's now Topher.
I don't remember.
Is Topher coming?
Yes.
Okay. So Topher, Erebus, and Geralt, let's just chit chat. Do we want to bring any other member of the coalition with us?
So River's not coming?
Well, so here's the thing, Topher. I mean, you remember what she said at the trial, and I'm sorry, Erebus, I know this hurts. River's not coming. Well, I don't think she's coming. She and Erebus are, I don't know, maybe done as friends, maybe done as adventuring partners. I don't know. I've reached out to her several times. I've told her that I'm here anytime she needs help. And I know she's got a lot going on with finding out the person that she is, being now a dryad. But I just don't think that she's coming. And who else would we bring? I mean, we may be dealing with things in the Lake of Elders that are either extremely dangerous and or very sensitive in subject. I mean, we don't know whether we're dealing with essence. We don't know if we're dealing with portals. We don't know.
Okay.
We don't know anything.
Can you remind me, what was the information that we got on the Lake of Elders?
Topher found a book in Smartledore's office, and there was a bookmark, and it showed the Lake of Elders and a little sketching of a house along the edge. And it said home.
Geralt, I don't know what we're going to do with her, but I doubt that it would be centered around the thing that we can't talk about. If it was Smartledore's home, the place for that was in the sanctuary. He wouldn't have brought it somewhere else.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a good point.
You're right about probably essence, but the sensitive nature of his home in, maybe it's his home. I mean, what do we?
Maybe it's my home.
Well, I don't think so. Well, maybe it is your home, and that's why we waited for you with this. We've had this information for months now, and we weren't even sure you were going to be able to come. But we waited for you, and I just don't. It doesn't feel right to not bring River.
Well, if she doesn't want to come, I don't know. Sorrow kicked ass last time, so she's got my vote.
I think we should bring another person. It would feel weird and too dangerous going out there with just three.
Okay.
Plus, then at least we have a little bit of healing. I know Taylor can do a little bit depending on what kind of spells you
Very little. Yeah, I
But-
have cure wounds.
But I've got nothing and you've got nothing. So
Well, what did we say?
seems-
Should we bring her into the office?
she
Talk
seems
to her?
smart and capable. So
She also seems young and reckless.
hi.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if we've met before.
you've already been established, and you know how I feel about some of your actions.
I don't, but that's because I choose to ignore most of what you say, Geralt. And that's for me to you. Just, yeah.
You know, I did everything I could to get you out of there, right?
I'm very excited that you did.
No, I'm just saying, my loyalty is to you, whether you
I know.
accept it or not.
Totally accept your loyalty to me. I love it.
Do you decide to bring Sorrow?
Well, they want to bring Sorrow.
Okay.
So we will bring Sorrow.
Okay, I think you leave the office and maybe Sorrow's like standing there like, hey guys, what you up to?
Sorry, were you waiting outside the door?
Yeah, I just was going to talk to you and see if maybe you need help with anything. There's no like badness going on in town and I just need something to
Badness going on in town?
Yeah, I'm just looking for something to do.
That's not in town?
Yeah, like any crimes going down that you need some help with or
Well,
like a big worm thing to slay or I don't know.
Sorrow, I should stop right here and tell you that you did incredible on our last adventure with
Thanks, Geralt, that means so much.
you did. You handled yourself really well.
I didn't die.
That's true. You
I thought you were
because we are
but I'm
talking
glad
right
you
now. But this may not be a fighting mission.
I can do stealth. I can be sneaky. I can get the guys behind.
And I believe that you can maybe do that, but you're not a rogue. So
I don't have to,
Listen,
just tell me what you need me to do.
what I need you to do is use your mind. That levitate.
I can levitate the whole freaking way. I got it.
No. Okay. What I'm saying is think like the levitate spell. You thought ahead and you helped the whole group. And I need you to do that on this mission because we don't know where we're getting into. What do you know about Smartledore?
So you want me to pretend to levitate?
No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to... Okay.
Well, Smartledore, he used to run the school, right?
Yeah.
Like he got you guys together and he fought in the war and
Smartledore is the greatest, most accomplished hero this world has ever seen.
Yeah, I've heard
He's lived for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Okay, so he was old. I get it.
debatable.
It's not you, Erebus.
I didn't think it was me. I was talking about you.
Oh, well, thank you. But no, it's him.
You've ruined the moment, Geralt.
All right. Well, I appreciate the sentiment.
Do you guys need a
No,
moment?
it's gone. It's gone.
You want to talk? I feel like you guys.
No, what I need you to do is use your head and don't get yourself into a situation where you might die. That's basically what it comes down to. Is I don't want you to die.
Okay, I'll do
Topher
my best. Can we go now? Like,
Topher and Erebus have...
are they really always like this? I feel like I'm kind of caught in the middle. And maybe they should like cash it out.
The world is caught in the middle.
Oh, okay.
It's usually how it goes.
When do we leave? Can we? I'll do my best not to die. I'll pretend to levitate. I'm just stoked to be on your team again, and I'll really, really try hard.
Guys, you're still good?
Geralt, you have silent spells. It'll be fine.
How do you pretend to levitate?
Like this.
That's what
On tiptoes.
That's what I'm wondering about. I want to see that. Do that right
Wear
now.
like a really long robe, and then you walk into your toes.
You walk without.
And like you use roller skates, so then they don't see the
I
steps.
never thought of that before.
So it looks like you're gliding.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Or
That sounds.
levitating.
Sorrow, don't do that.
No, sorry. You should totally do that the whole way.
Actually, if you do that, you cannot come.
Actually, we might be going into some rough terrain. Rollerblades would be an awful idea.
Okay. I'll wear
But
boots.
around the school, great idea.
The kids will
People will
love
think
it.
you
Yeah,
awesome.
the kids will love it. Okay. When are we leaving, Garo?
Right now.
I'm ready. Let's go. She like pulls her backpack from around the corner and throws it on her shoulder.
We leave.
Okay. So you start heading out of the school. As you're going, you're just kind of walking through. You see Shelby and he goes, hello, and then waves at you guys as you're passing by.
She's like,
Geralt goes over and gives Shelby a hug.
Oh, and he's like, oh, hello.
Sarah's like pointing, like gesturing to Shelby, like, look what I'm doing. I'm going with them. Like, she's like so excited.
Yeah. And Shelby's giving you
Shelby's like
thumbs
her
up.
best friend.
Shelby has no idea what message you're trying to get across, but he's just really excited for you anyway.
Perfect.
I want to talk to Shelby just real quickly.
Oh, okay. What's up, girl?
Hey, Shelby. So we got Sorrow coming with us on our adventure. We're going to be leaving the school for a couple of days.
Yo.
And listen, I know you're going to be fine. If you need anything, you check in with Ola, you check in with Lazarus, you know what to do, right? But what do you have that might be able to help her in the coming... We don't know what we're getting into.
Oh. Where are you going?
Well, we're going to the Lake of Elders.
In the mountains.
Right.
Let me see. And he kind of goes in the back and he's shuffling around on boxes and stuff. You see, as you're waiting around, as he's looking, you see Elder Fidget just covered in different traps, walking sadly into the school. You know that he was trying to look for live traps to bring in and show kids how to disarm them and recognize them. It looks like he found some. Hey. he's just
great.
A mage hand comes up and a thumbs up. He doesn't look back at you. Shelby comes back with a bottle of a potion that resists cold.
Okay.
And he says, this could be helpful, possibly. And he's like, and also, you're going up in the mountains. Anyone who needs them, here's some warm cloaks. And they're like, you know that like 90s, like neon colors of like yellow, pink, and blue jackets and stuff. It looks a lot like that. Like he kind of matched up some things himself and was like, oh,
the Oliver Tree windbreaker or snow jacket.
Yeah, kind of like that. And he's like, yeah, and then also these in case anyone gets cold.
You are amazing, Shelby. And I'm going to need a couple of health potions too.
Oh, health potions. Yeah. Let me see. He goes back through and he comes back and he's like, oh, the health potions, they're on the house.
Do you mean that you threw them on the house?
No, someone else did. There's still a serial thrower going on around in the school.
Okay, well, I'm going to put somebody on that, so don't you worry about that.
Okay.
And then I slide him the equivalent gold to whatever we purchased.
Okay. As you guys kind of walk away from there, Zibzob is in the shadows of the castle and looks at Shelby and then disappears into the shadows. I don't know if you remember Zibzob, but he's the student who threw the chair and ran out of the ran out of the class.
He threw the potions.
Oh, he threw the potion.
He's serial.
Serial throw.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, wait, perception check. Do I see it? Well, I don't remember what my modifier is. I think it's +4.
What'd you roll?
21.
21. Yeah, you hear kind of a and you turn and you see him disappearing into the back and you're like, I'm gonna put a pin in that. Because
I advocate to Thala. Watch out for Zibzob. It's being weird again.
And she's like, okay, can do.
Also, Shelby mentioned a cereal thrower. So,
Not breakfast.
yeah, not breakfast. You're not here in my head. Get out. Get out of my head.
Yeah, you continue out and you start on your way. You start moving south. There is a road that leads down to Red Larch. That's the town that will kind of get you closest to where you can start taking a mountain path up to the Lake of Elders in the Dragonback Mountains.
Can I look for that creature, by the way, while we're here?
Which one?
The one that's been messing with
The
hikers?
mischievous
Mount Jester?
jester.
Yeah. So as you start going down this path, Daryl brought that back. And you guys have this paper. You kind of made some copies just in case if you're going out. Why don't you give us a perception? And Garrel, why don't you give me a history?
History. Okay.
17 for perception.
17 for
History is 23.
23. You're looking around as you're traveling, making your way towards the mountains, and you're trying to keep your eyes peeled for any sort of strange noises or anything that seems out of the ordinary. You know that the jester is a trickster creature and would probably be doing something to make things a little hard on you. But with that history check, you would know that jesters can pretty much wind up anywhere that people are well-traveled, but they are not fans of colder climates. So while maybe in one section of the range that goes up higher and gets colder, it may be in a lower section of the mountain range, which is a little more north on the Dragonbacks.
Okay.
So on the northern section of the continent, the mountains aren't quite as tall, but as it comes down towards the lake, the mountains seem to rise up kind of around it, almost like a large crown.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily see anything here. These paths also aren't traveled quite as often.
Sure.
So if it's looking to play a lot of tricks, these paths probably wouldn't be sufficient.
Okay.
But good call.
Yeah, absolutely. I almost forgot about that. Well, I did forget about it. You remembered. I didn't. Could you remind me before we get there, because I feel like it's going to be important later, the names of the ancient dragons?
Yes, there is Akra, the red dragon. There is Ferretin the blue, Geth the silver, Balazar the green, and the black dragon is Rogar. Those are the elder dragons. You make it down to Red Larch. Is there anything you want to do there?
Red Larch?
Yeah.
We'll go visit Arthur's real quick.
Billy's.
Billy's.
Yeah.
It's fucking friendly, fucking fine family dining.
Yeah. You stop in to get a drink, maybe some food supplies before you travel up. Into the mountains.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you walk up and you see the large sign, Billy's Fine Fucking Family Dining, up above, and you come in and, oh, hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, Billy.
Hey.
Billy.
Hey, how's it going?
Need some food for the road and a couple drinks real quick.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And how's things? I haven't checked back in with you since you changed the name.
Yeah, business is going pretty good, no complaints.
I said, how are you doing?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
No one ever asks about me. I'm keeping it together. It's kind of stressful, like running the business now, especially with such a loud previous owner. Arthur?
Of course.
Yeah, so I've been building up kind of my own brand, kind of making it my own thing, and it's been going pretty well. Kids come in here now every once in a while.
Even with the swear?
I know. I do what I can with the swear. It's difficult because it's right up there and in a very bright color.
But it has fine and family around.
Exactly.
It's camouflaged.
Do you think that maybe you could just change it to the triple F or?
It is in the contract that I have to keep that sign up there in its current state as written.
Listen, Billy, I like it. I think it's funny.
Yeah. You don't have to say it every day.
I guess that's true. I don't have to say fine fucking family dining. I did it. I said it, and
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
It was good. I'll get some drinks going. And he kind of like whistles over to someone else tending bar, and you start making drinks, and he kind of smiles and goes into the back where he's talking to cooks and all that good stuff. So they're packing up some stuff for you. And he's like, oh, by the way, did you ever make Carla Thurl a trophy?
Of course I did.
Oh, cool. I haven't talked to him recently. I think he's very much enjoying retirement.
Where's he at?
But no, I think he said something about hanging out at some of the smaller islands just off of the coast of Liege. You'll probably find him there if you come across him. But yeah, the last I talked to him, he grabbed my lapels of my tunic and shook me and said, "You make sure they bring me that goddamn trophy."
I will have made the trophy. 100%.
Okay.
I will have 100% made the trophy. And I'm going to come up with this off the top of my head, but Garrow's always true to his word. I, Matthew, have forgotten. But Garrow's always true to his word. So he would have like put that on his to-do list.
Yeah.
And he would have literally hired, he wouldn't have made it himself because he wants fine craftsmanship. He would have maybe put Lazarus in charge of finding a blacksmith to forge a
Real high quality trophy.
We're talking like Harlathurl in his youth with extreme ripped muscles, holding the head of an orc or something and drinking an ale in the other. And it says on the bottom, it says to Harlathurl, the baddest motherfucker who ever did fuck.
I knew you were going to say. Yeah, I knew you were going to end it with fuck. Billy's like,
And then it says the town of such and such thanks you for, the continent of Liege thanks you for your help in the Titan War.
And Billy's like, you know what? He'd like that.
Also, I think there's definitely like a cat on the bottom like a really fluffy cat, like wrapped around the legs.
Yeah.
And it's not bloody. It's just there.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's secretly inside, I think Carlo Thurl's like a real softie, and he loves cats.
Oh, for sure.
Pewter or bronze, maybe.
After that, they get you packed up and you start moving. You start hitting the bottom of the mountain and start scaling up. River. Everyone's kind of gathered. They're singing songs, old druidic songs regarding the Feywild. Some of them are singing in Sylvan, which you got kind of a grasp on that language. And they are just praising the Mother Nature, this person who was so in tune with this world. And as the sun is kind of rising, you see this bud on the tree start to expand. And as soon as that happens, all the music, everything, all the singing completely stops. And you see the arborway, the crowds of people sitting around. You and Phaedra are kind of off to the side. The flower starts to bloom. Cool. Everyone is silent and they are standing in reverence with their eyes closed. What do you do?
In my research, do I know when the arborway is passable?
People have tried passing through when the flower is fully bloomed. It's just about fully bloomed. People have tried approaching, but they've never quite been able to get any sort of passage, not even a fingertip or anything. It still just feels like a tree.
Well, I approach the tree with Phaedra. I assume she's following me. And I put my hand on the tree.
Okay. Are you disguising yourself at all?
No.
You start moving through, you kind of take your hood down, and you start moving up to the tree, and as people are sitting in prayer in this reverence, they kind of turn and look up, and then there starts to be murmurs and whispers, and they're like, it's the river of life. You are so well known within the Druid community. Oh my God, this is the first time we've had someone like her here. And Phaedra's kind of standing back a little bit, but watching. As you approach the tree, there's just like all of a sudden a stunned silence within the crowd, and they're just watching. And you put your hand on it. You put your hand on it, and people are like, what's happening? River's here, and she's touching the tree. So there's this huge anticipation. And as you put your hand on it, you swear you feel the faintest touch of another hand from the other side press up against yours.
I try and grab the hand.
You do, and your fingertips just kind of scrape on the bark.
Can I push through the tree at all? Push into it?
You start kind of pushing on it, but you're not quite doing any sort of movement. And Phaedra is standing behind you, and she goes, I don't know. I've never seen anyone go through really focus on what is beyond there. You're a part of that world. I think if anyone would be able to find their way into this plane, it is you.
So River tries casting Tree Stride.
You cast Tree Stride, and you take a step into this arborway, and you disappear. And the crowd is in shocked silence.